Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Well, we are continuing our summer scouting series here on the YouTube channel. It is a July 4th weekend, and we're going to be dropping a couple shows on some tight ends here. And the first tight end we're going to profile this summer is going to be Eli Stowers. All right, my podcast co-host Jason DiRienzo and I, we're going to break it all down for you. We've watched his ALL22 film extensively, and we actually just dropped our top tight end show on this channel, so go check that out as well. So yeah, we're going to dig into Eli Stowers, man, and we're going to talk about the class a little bit overall, and his game and how he's going to translate to the NFL. So thanks for tuning in. If you love this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to support the channel, check out the website below. It is a great resource to scout players for yourself. In fact, the Eli Stowers ALL22 films that we discuss in this video are available as a subscriber where you can scout these players for yourself. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dig into Eli Stowers and see what kind of projection Jason and I see for him in your 2026 rookie drafts.
All right, Jason, let's talk about our first 2026 NFL Draft Summer Scouting Profile tonight. And we're going to talk Eli Stowers. All right, we just talked about him a little bit in our ranking show. Let's get into the details. Me and you have watched the ALL22 film on this guy. We watched his Alabama game, his Tennessee game, his Texas game, tight end. He's going to be a senior at Vanderbilt this year, 6'4", 235 pounds. Had a great season. You and I talked about it earlier in the show as well, that he, was a former quarterback coming out of high school, right? Went to Texas A&M, basically went to New Mexico State, and they said, hey, you're not going to play quarterback anymore. And here he is playing tight end for Vanderbilt. And he had a pretty good season. Let's go over his 2024 production, a little bit of details, some PFF stats and grades for you guys, see kind of how he ranked up in the class. And then we'll talk to you about what we saw on his ALL22 film. So he had 589 yards and 4 TDs on the season. His catch percentage, 73%. Yards per receptions, 12.8. His slot wide and inline versatility alignment, 73% in the slot, 22% in line, 5% out wide. So I don't think he's going to be a guy that is going to line up inside the NFL, on the outside of a tackle, asked to maybe block a edge rusher. But his PFF receiving grade was 88.0, third ranked in the class. Contested catch was a little bit of a concern, 28%. He ranked over the 50th percentile in that, so again, maybe due to his lack of size and frame at that smaller frame size, maybe not. He's got to get a little bit more physical. Yards after the catch per reception, 8 yards after the catch, ranked 6. And again, these are ranks based on just regular season statistics, minimum of 20 receptions, and eligible players for the 2026 and 2027 draft classes. Yards after route run, 2.36 for all you analytical guys out there, ranked 4th in the class. Average depth of target, 6.7, ranked 46, and his drop percentage was 2.5, ranked 15th. So, like I said, we watched the ALL22 film. I know you're gaga about this guy, dude. I know you are loving Eli Stowers, man. He was your number 1 ranked tight end in our rankings discussion. So tell me, man, what would you love about his ALL22 film?
You know what? I mean, I'm not a big offensive scheme type of guy, like putting together game plans or anything like that. But when I watched him, I just kept thinking, how can an NFL team not see the way this kid moves, his versatility, his ability as a receiver, the IQ that he has coming in as being from a converted quarterback to a tight end? How could you not watch the film and start looking at ways that you could utilize and maximize his yards after the catch ability, the release, and be a mismatch in zone coverage? Just the speed alone. Like we saw some of the, he had those what do you call it? Where they got the short handoffs, whatever
The sweeps and stuff,
like,
yeah. Or oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
When they pitched him the ball and he just took off,
shovel
got
pass.
yards up. Shovel pass. Thank
shovel
you.
pass.
God,
Yeah.
Jason.
Against Alabama, he had 2 of them. Really good,
right.
Good plays too.
Right. So, I mean, there's so many different ways you could use and maximize this kid's versatility, athletic upside, that I think that is a huge mismatch. And we know how the NFL is looking for playmakers and speed, and it's changing a little bit. And they're trying to get these guys in space. I think his profile fits perfectly with one of those, high upside, fast pitch type of NFL teams that will find a way to use like an Evan Ingram type that he kind of reminds me of, or even the way I saw Elijah Arroyo move when I was at the Senior Bowl live. I mean, just the fluid nature of the twitchiness, the speed, the athleticism, maybe not the size, but even Arroyo, I think it was in the low 240s. So, and he's 6'4". So I think there's a way to maximize this kid's ability, and he's got such upside. And we saw the hands. The hands are
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, hands are good.
tremendous. And even in difficult catch situations, he was hauling those passes in. I think even I had to ask you to like, did he catch that ball? And he did. That's huge. So to me, like not only in real life on an NFL team, but also in fantasy, I see this kid as being a tremendous value with upside.
Yeah, well, I think you described it pretty well. His hands were great. He had some phenomenal concentration catches
Yeah.
in there. Yards after the catch. He found soft spots in zone coverages really well. Like you said, that quarterback background probably really helped him. Thought he was a good overall route runner. Had some good stem
Mhm.
work, creating space and stuff like that. My only concern really with his game is his size and his usage at the NFL level, because he's going to have
And
to
it's
be
a
a
definite concern.
I
Yep.
mean, he's going to have to be a big slot because, and then I'm wondering, is someone going to spend a high draft pick on a big slot receiver if they can't really utilize him on the end of the line of scrimmage to help with in the run game? Is he going to be a scheme dependent piece in an offense, versus where maybe you can get a tight end that's a little bigger and thicker and can give you a little inline versatility and still create space and get open, 15, 20 yards down the field. But Eli Stowers has got that explosive part to his game. He was ranked number 4 for me, I believe, in our ranks.
I think you had him at
Um,
4. Yep.
yeah, so I'm at 4. So he's still a top 5 receiver. We got another whole year of fall ball to go, which is going to be great. Going to be here before you know it. It's going to be awesome in about a month and a half to 2 months. So let's talk about his NFL draft and dynasty projection. I have him as an early day 3 guy. Now we spoke to maybe he sneaks into day 2, but again, I still have this thing in the back of my mind. Let's say he's 239 or 242 and 6'4". And he, the blocking that we saw on the film was good. But I think he needs to really work on his technique and get a little stronger in the lower half in his base. So I see him as like a round 4, maybe round 3, day 2 guy, but that's where I see him right now in the draft. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it just falls with the right team seeing a way to
Yeah,
maximize his
you
upside. I
said
mean,
right.
a lot of times they don't even really ask these tight ends to block. Like you saw the competitive, like the chip blocking, he's got the willingness to block. I mean, even if he can just do that, but be a dynamic receiver. I mean, that was one of the biggest issues that we saw from like Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid. Like they weren't the greatest blockers either. So I mean, I think if it all falls into the right place, he gets into the lower 240s, he's going to blow up the combine. I see him as the second round pick.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So, rookie draft, if he's this, day 2 guy, he's mostly, I got like late second, third rounder if you're not in a tight end premium league.
Yeah. Yeah, and
It,
honestly, I really hope he. I mean, I can't wait to watch him at the Senior Bowl. I'll be going. I'll be so excited. So,
yeah, I'm
and
sure
he
you
reminds
will.
me of Elijah Arroyo. Honestly, like just the
Really?
speed, the movement, just
Yeah.
the speed that I saw on tape. Like how Arroyo, when we were watching, like he just moves differently than everybody else.
Oh,
When
yeah.
we were watching the film,
Yeah.
I think it's just. Stowers moves differently than a
Hmm.
lot of the other tight ends, maybe in this class, maybe because I was watching some of these players, other than,
Uh,
Kenyon Sadiq that just didn't move the same, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And really, when it comes down to tight ends, it's athleticism. It's, and toughness, right? I mean, you got to be
Yeah,
able
and
to
toughness,
create
right.
space with your athleticism and be physical too. So, I love how Arroyo, because he was my tight end 1, baby, and I'm still sticking with
I
that.
know.
I'm still sticking with it.
He
That
landed a great
in
spot in
C.
Seattle,
I
man.
mean, and that makes such a difference for these tight ends. It's
It
everything.
absolutely does.
I mean,
Yeah,
because look at Pat Fryermuth on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's like junk now, right? I love that kid coming out of
yeah,
Penn State too.
yeah. Yeah,
But
but
in any case,
it's yeah, I don't
now
know
I
if it makes
see him,
Pat
his NFL role to me, after let's say 2 years in the NFL, I still see him as a backup, maybe spot starter. But you must think that he has a legit shot of starting maybe early in his career.
You know what? I think because he's gonna be a senior, because I see the IQ, I mean, the only thing that's holding me back is not even the functional strength because I see the competitive nature. I think he
Mhm.
plays bigger than the 235, but it is definitely going to be a problem when asked to play the actual tight end position. But I'm thinking if a team, and it's going to be team specific, but every tight end is team specific and having
Sure.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I think because he's not so much of a blocker, he might get used more at receiver, and to me, there's more longevity in that, especially with fantasy football.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get drafted as a big slot personally, but Elijah Arroyo was
I can
your
see that too.
comp.
Yeah.
My value comp was Greg Dulcich. I don't know what happened to him after that great year in Denver and he fell apart, but as far as like
Oh,
looking,
yeah, he looked good.
I liked him coming out from UCLA, I
Yeah.
believe he was from, right? But
Yep.
I thought it saw the same kind of thinner guy that could really win all over the field and had some explosion to his game. So that is my value comp. So it's going to be great to see where he ends up. So there is our summer scouting report on Mr. Eli Stowers.